Hajime to everybody. I know I'm still growing my hair out. My apologies if my hair looks like a disaster. It's because I am not prepared to bleach my hair anymore. I think it's time for me to set my roots, literally set my roots and start focusing on having two fur babies and being in a country basically on my own. Okay, my husband's here, but I don't have like an immediate family here, so to speak. I have, but I don't. Like, I never grew up with the people that supposedly are family in the United States for me. Going back to today, I feel as if it is, my name is Sinta. Hajimemashita means hello in, or welcome in Japanese. I lived in Japan for 9 years, growing up as a child. My grandmother came to visit and lived with us for a little bit in Japan as well. Here's her with my sister. So this is our experience growing up in Japan with my grandmother. She also is she's American. That's the only person I can say I basically grew up with in the United States. My grandfather's no longer around. They were not married for long at all. Her working in I don't know if it was the embassy or something in Hokkaido. So it was really nice having her around as a child. It was really quite a bit of a gift there. There's me. I think this was also in Japan as a child. Her in her office. Somebody's birthday party. It could have been a friend's, and my grandmother was part of it. So you can see these pictures. Old. This is like I grew up there in the 80s. So there aren't really many things we can kind of look into. The VCRs we have not transferred into DVDs, which are no longer existent really. People are using YouTube as their memory space, so sometimes it's not the case. There's me as a kid in Japan with my friends. I think this was at our house. So it's been South Africa, the Corcoran here in the States. It's been an interesting one. So I have a few more pictures of, and this is my sister now. She's like doing music in South Africa, in Cape Town. So I thought that this would be a great time to generally talk a little bit about Japan and textiles. The Cherry Blossom Festival is coming relatively early. I think it begins. Now I live around the block from DC, and DC has like a huge assortment of cherry blossoms. It's just the time that I remember as a child because cherry blossom trees and cherry blossoms and cherries, these particular trees are from Japan. And it just brings back memories every time I see the cherry blossoms here in the United States of the time growing up as a child wearing a kimono. I'm gonna have some more photographs of the clips that I've, from Japan, me wearing kimono and stuff. And some photographs I had taken a few years back with my husband. This year, this was the kimono that I wore last year that I made. Let me put it on, let's see if it kind of works. This is not necessarily the traditional kimono, but I made the sleeves. It's like a shirt, a top, a jacket. The sleeves are more kind of wedding kimono-like. I like them long. Let's see if I can put this on. So this is definitely, okay, so there's this, and then you would have, whoops. I'm gonna have to put that there. And then you would have the belt, which is called like the obi. This is my interpretation of one. Okay, so this is not the traditional format. But this is more or less how I made it. Okay, and I have like a shirt underneath. So there's gonna be a couple of layers here that might not necessarily be suitable. However, in Japan, kimonos are known to be layered. So layering is part of the process on a more traditional format. This is definitely a little bit more modern. Then you have like this thing, which is, I think it's called I don't remember what this is called. there's a name for it. There's an extra piece of fabric that they put on top of the obi. It's like it's not a yukata. Yukata is a different type of kimono. So this is the one that I made. I just thought that this would be a good time to kind of bring it out. The Cherry Blossom Festival is coming early. We had a very cold winter, like a spurt of winter. So the snow came down quite heavily on 2 days. Had it for like a whole week, 2 weeks, and then it disappeared. So we had like a real fast winter. And this year, I just finished making these for my fur babies. I know I'm supposed to be talking music, but I do talk music and fashion because Poshmark is my other side. And besides Poshmark, I worked for like designers and stuff back in the day. And this is the little tiny kimono that I made yesterday for for Dolce. It's not going to be perfect, but it's for a photo shoot. So this is my thing for today. And for Dior, so like a little guy's one. It's not perfectly made. There are obviously like lining errors and cutting. This is not properly made. You can tell the difference. This is not for sale, but hopefully the photographs turn out reasonably well underneath the cherry blossoms. So we will see about that. I'm gonna put this here for 2 seconds. I'm gonna take this off because it's a bit warm. Okay, so that's basically the whole thing about the kimonos. I wasn't going to do music, but there is a song which is called Sakura, which is a Japanese song for this particular season that is about to happen in the United States, not necessarily all of the United States, mainly in like the DC area and Maryland area because there are a lot of cherry blossoms here. Even in our complex, there is a beautiful cherry blossom tree at the entrance. So it's going to be really interesting, and I like to take photographs, and obviously my husband's also into photography. So this year we decided we're going to, and I try to organize photographs. I studied fine arts, but fine arts refers to like the entireness of the arts, because in order to get a degree in the arts, you need to know graphic design, photography, building and constructing, sculpture, hand-drawn projects, performance art. It's all in one. When you go to art university, you're introduced to everything. Music wasn't at the time involved. I remember when I was at the Corcoran, they had performers performing at the gallery space, and I know that they had like a hall for that purpose, but they hadn't put 2 and 2 together, and I came in as a musician, and I also went to private classes at Duke Ellington, which is across the road from the other departments in the Corcoran, or at the Corcoran. So I was a little disappointed when I realized that there was no music departments within the arts. So I kind of molded it together in my own kind of context. So I do have musical education, yes. I did up to like a certain standard, a level. I studied classical, I studied jazz, I had my exams, like the formal exams, all of the above. So, you know, just because I talk other things besides music doesn't mean to say that I don't have certified qualifications within the field. So that's how I am. I've used both in situations. The Corcoran now, I think I've spoken about it before, now actually has, which is GW, George Washington University. It's now molded into George Washington. So that's a pretty pretty up there university. You know, you want to have a degree from there. So I'm very lucky to have a degree that molded into GW. So now I can say and claim I'm from George Washington graduate, right? So it just wasn't at the time connected. Now it is. And they now have the music department with the art department. So they are like what I have been doing for all these years, they are now doing as a university format type of thing. So that's where that's going. And I see it on a different dimension. I don't see it as just playing like music and teaching people music. You're talking to somebody that has a variety of skills. I might not have children, so to speak. I am 44, and most people of my age would probably have 2 kids and a family and a house and all that stuff. For me, my education was my child. Art is my kid. Everything that I mold and develop, this is like my child. My fashion, my wearable art, this is another side of me. That means I've been growing this child from very, very long. This is the art, yeah. So that's part of the process. And going back into Sakura, 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 Yayoi no sora wa miwatasu kage ni. I don't remember all the words. I've lost my Japanese because I don't speak it anymore. Like, so to speak, I'm not around enough Japanese people. It would be nice if more Japanese people would get involved in this on this YouTube channel, and somehow I know right now it's only connected for specifically the United States. I believe they're branching it out. I hope it is the case, because it should be, you know, just because a person is living in a country doesn't mean to say that they haven't lived in more than multiple countries. And I have lived in multiple countries, so I feel as if this is the place to be, to branch out, to introduce myself to other places I've lived in. So there's that. Yeah, I think that was my thing. Is I'm going to have finalized photographs. We're hoping these photographs turn out fantastic with Dolce & Dior. I have a small little video photograph and a video clip of her wearing her sample, the pattern, the garment, this one. So this is my child. This fashion thing is the child that I've been growing for many, many years, besides the music and focusing on. So I have 2 kids. My first child is my fashion. My second child, or the first child, is the music, and the second child is the fashion. And each one has its own entity, and I develop them at different times and bring them together when I need to for exhibitions, for instance, or a discussion like I am right now. So when people talk about family and kids, I talk about art and developing projects, because that in itself it's like having a baby. It's like having a child that you need to grow and build and develop and feed and nurture. It's the same thing. You know, it's just not a physical, it's physical in a different context. Artists are creators, and parents and mothers are creators of babies, or parents are creators of babies. And so the artist becomes the parent of the artwork, or the painting, or the sculpture, or the song, or the composition, or the concerto, or the orchestral piece. It could be anything. That's the whole element. So I just wanted today to talk through why I do it and why I might not have kids right now. I feel as if people think everybody gets out of college and goes off and tries to find the right partner. And for me, I hadn't found the right partner. I've dated, but I hadn't found the right partner till hopefully at this time in my life. And you know what? It's okay to grow and find your own feet in the world. I don't think everybody has to be married. It's peer pressure, right? You don't have to marry at the same time your friend gets married. It's peer pressure. I don't fall to peer pressure. And you know what? Half those marriages that began early with kids probably hadn't lasted anyway. So my children have been my creations, my work, my paintings, my music. Those in itself are children, because they take years to manifest. You know, people always think, oh, it's a craft, you're like creative. I'm like, no, it's not a creative thing. This is like my family. This is what I brought back from South Africa. This is what I've taken all over the place. This is what I took to Japan with me. My skills became my survival. This is the type of thing that I used to enter and get my scholarship for my university. This is what I used to get in for my master's. These are the type of things that I used to get into. I've gotten awards in the arts. It's not a big deal. It's just how it is. It's, I just haven't had an exhibition recently, but this YouTube becomes the space where I'm able to express myself. So if that is the situation, and I do run my own YouTube channel and I can say what I want to say, that means I should be allowed to express myself in a variety of different fields if I want to, because it's not just for the purpose of people learning music. It's for people to learn, like myself, my experiences, and how the arts became my family. The art has become my family. Artists are known to be more, like fine artists, are known to be a little bit more reserved with their time because they have to create stuff. And finally, when they come out of the shell, that's when they have the exhibitions and do the shows. So once this would be like the exhibition, right? Successful photographs with the fur babies wearing these garments. For the cherry blossom, I think I might do some more cherry blossom festival. And I'll put some clips of me sewing these. I don't have clips of me sewing my other pieces. So this will be a whole new venture, me filming all of the things that I've worked on recently. This is totally new, and I can definitely use that footage for a variety of different platforms, which is important. So I wanted to talk more about the fashion today because this is my other baby. My first baby is the music. My second baby is my fashion. And today is a Poshmark day. I'm behind on Poshmark, so I have to set up the space. This is the space I use for my fashion stuff. I'll also put some links of like how it looks when I have done shows in the past. Not shows, when I've done presentations in the past on my Poshmark and Whatnot channel. I haven't done Whatnot in a while. It's a little bit more complicated, and it takes so much time and energy to put these together. So yeah, that's a whole different story. But I'm going to put the clips in for this particular video. This is focusing on the fashion side because fashion is also me. And yeah, throughout some of the videos, I actually do have myself talking about fashion. And I think it's important. You can't just focus. I personally think you cannot just have one skill to start a business. You need to have multiple skills. You have to have multiple skills. People always say, oh, you have multiple skills and then you're not a master of any of them. And that is actually untrue. You should actually create your skills individually, and then if business is the direction you're wanting to go, then those skills become part of the business. You have to learn budgeting, you have to learn filming, you have to learn editing, you have to learn how to communicate to people, you have to learn if you need to get a proposal done, how to write a proposal. There are all these things that go into a business, but you can't just have, take all the courses that you take in university. That's why they do it. You do all the courses you take in university in order to actually get to the conclusion that in the end you're either going to be working in an office space or you want to start your own thing. And I've always wanted to start my own thing, and I have. I've been starting my own thing for years. So, Facebook is going okay. I'm not too enthusiastic about the fact that we don't have our own personalized bots like we do on Poshmark. Hypothetically speaking, you hire a bot like Posher VA, and Posher VA becomes the go-to because if you can't do certain things, that bot becomes your assistant. And Facebook does not have that. You're having to pull your own hair consistently and go out of your way during the day to actually make this thing work. So if you're like me, who doesn't really have support structure, and besides your husband, and family here to help with the pets, and a housekeeper to clean your house, then you have to come up with a way to make it work, but be able to do the things that you can do during the time period. during the day, for instance. Like I've lost exercise, I got back into my exercise today. I found I can't go to the gym, but I have my equipment here, so I'm gonna work around what I can do within the space that I have. So it gets pretty interesting. Jack of all trades, but a master of none. And that's, the quote is so old-fashioned, I don't know who came up with that, that in order to become your own business person, you have to have jack of all trades. There's no way around it, unfortunately. And if you want, and if people want to think that that is the way it should be because they read it up or people tell them constantly, that's called brainwashing. Don't ever listen to people who are brainwashing. Start thinking for yourself. That is my key to today. Think for yourself. Don't have other people put something in your mind and make you think that that is how it is. Think for yourself. Be your own independent thought thinker. It's like a big deal. Like, people think that I'm Caucasian and I come from the United States only and I've never tried Asian food my entire life, where in fact it's the opposite. I lived in Asia most of my life. I only eat Asian food, and don't judge a book by its cover is the next best. Then the next thing is my mom is mixed. She considers herself African. She is African. She claims that she is black. I still consider her mixed because I'm not dark skinned. I'm a little bit light skinned. She's darker skinned than me. And you know, the obsession with people being African American. Well, I am African and I am American, but I cannot use that word because I am not of the color that people perceive that it should be. So we don't go there. So all I'm saying is just, you know, when you're talking to people, like, make sure that it's coming from yourself and you decide what's best for you. Don't take people's word and assume that it's going to be how you're going to live your life. You live your life the way you want to live it, like I have. I have chosen my path as an artist. I am choosing to use YouTube to talk about various things. The Cherry Blossom Festival is literally around the corner, so this is the right time for me to talk about kimonos and fashion and all that stuff. Besides the fact that today I must focus on my Poshmark because I'm behind 2 days now. I must start doing that. Oh, and I will be definitely doing more on Tuesdays at around 12 Eastern Standard Time in the United States for my lives, because then I get more things done. I don't have to stress out. I have my phone. I can now film it, do the lives on my phone, which is, thank God, a very useful thing. So now I'm going to be doing that more often. Before I was setting it up in a different way. So that's what I'll be doing. So I'm going to go live here, I'm going to go live on Facebook, and I'm going to go live on Poshmark on the same day. So I've delegated Tuesdays for that for all platforms, all 3 platforms that I'm doing. And yeah, hopefully these will start molding into the concepts that I have. Arigatou gozaimashita, matashita sayonara, and jane bye-bye. Just a little glimpse into my fashion. This is my fashion baby. This is the fashion is my other baby, and the other baby is my, yeah, and then I have 2 other fur babies. So that's like 4, right? Four babies in one. Okay, and then hopefully I'll speak to you guys in the next one, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, bye.